HackerNoon Podcast.
On with my little learning progress of cryptocurrency. I have a lot of questions still, even though we've done several episodes at this point. And one of my questions is, how am I supposed to figure out how much a particular coin or a token might be worth? And so I thought we would just dive right into the deep of things and go right for the shitcoins. So I have Ben here today, who is the host of the Nevermind the Shitcoins podcast and part of the Freeton team. So welcome to the podcast, Ben.
Oh, thank you very much for having me, Amy. Absolute pleasure.
Yes, and of course, my name is Amy Tom, and this is the HackerNoon Podcast. So let's get into it. What the is a shitcoin?
What a great question to leave with. Yes, so this is one of my favorite things. So when leading straight into a shill for my own podcast, when I was thinking about the name for the podcast, initially I thought, never mind the blockchains. It's a play on, an old British quiz which existed. I was a big fan of it. It was a music-based one. But then the term shitcoin, people kind of often think of it as a derogatory thing. But essentially, all it means is anything that isn't Bitcoin. So if it's not Bitcoin, it's a shitcoin, essentially. And that's the running meme. Lots of projects should wear it as a badge of honor, I think.
Oh, really? That is like the definition of a shitcoin, just like not Bitcoin.
Yeah, that's how I see it, essentially.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, some people might argue with me, but like I say, I think, it's a badge that projects should wear with honor.
Okay, so let's talk about then the evolution of the shitcoin. What was the first shitcoin then?
Oh, well, you'd be going past my knowledge. I mean, personally, I got really into the world in the crazy summer of 2017. So you can...
Yes.
You can kind of think of that as the birth of the era of what people might think of commonly as shitcoins. So when the market really blew up, when CoinMarketCap went past having a couple of hundred decent projects, depending on your definition, to literally going, in the space of a few months to thousands. And I'm sure, as you said, you've touched on things with Ethereum in previous episodes. I won't go too heavily into that. But obviously the ICO era of 2017, where essentially anyone could launch their own ERC20 token. They could list on Ether Delta, the home of shitcoins, where I cut my teeth, as they say. And for me, I think that's where it really sort of started kicking off the altcoin markets. They were around before, but again, with that summer, with the big Bitcoin first original hard fork, or might not have been the original one, but the one which kind of kicked off the controversy with Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core, as they call it.
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what was it about the shitcoin that really sparked your interest? Like, what particular one made you be like, okay, this is it?
You're going to make me embarrass myself here. So again, everyone was new once. Okay, I'm going to frame this. Everyone was new once. I'm a long-haired hippie. I'm an idealist. There was a project. Should I name names? Of course. Shame these people. They were called Substratum, and like I say, I discovered Ether Delta, which essentially was. It's a little bit like a very devolved version of Uniswap. There was sort of a micro centralized process in getting listed, but there was no gatekeepers. Essentially, you could create your own token. You could list with any promises, just a website and promises. And because it was such a speculative market with idiots like me going, ooh, promises, and it worked. There's a British saying about throwing shit at a dartboard. Some of it sticks. So anyway, Substratum, they had a very flashy website and promises of being able to, get this, bring down the Great Firewall of China.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, and you bought into this. All
I
right,
bought
okay, great,
into
great.
it. I bought into it.
You're
So
like, wow,
as
the
did a lot
internet
of
is
people.
finally gonna open up. It's 2017.
Exactly.
Let's go.
Yeah, these guys have made a copy and paste token. How can it fail? Yeah, I mean, it was crazy plans. But I mean, if the further you dug into it, so I mean, it was crazy times because, like I say, I must have bought these coins at fractions of a penny, something like whatever they were. We were trading in Ethereum, so maybe those pennies were worth thousands now. But this again is getting into the complexities of trading shitcoins, and to frame everything, I'm not a financial advisor or a very good trader.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, so
but
here
yeah,
comes
these
my
coins
first
went.
dumb question.
Go for it.
So, back in the day, in like the 2017 times, was it just like a crazy wild time where like anybody could make a token, but now it's not the same?
No, of course it's the same nowadays, but I think the processes and the general protection around people. So generally, it's a lot harder to get any form of attention or any form of speculation on Uniswap than it would have been on Ether Delta per se. It's essentially the amount of fish in the pond nowadays.
Right.
The bigger, more decent fish are always going to be able to. That's a terrible analogy. I'm sure I could come up with a better one later on. But
The bigger
we'll
fish
go
will
with
just
it.
eat the little fish, and then that's how the circle of life works.
Exactly,
Okay, I get
exactly. But yeah, so again, you have these genuine projects, but that's not to say, I mean, things like PancakeSwap and Uniswap, it is very easy to list a token. In fact, they're all decentralized processes on Everscale, which I should say is the new name for Freeton. There's decentralized exchanges you can use as well, and I made a token very quickly for Nevermind the Shitcoins. No idea what I'm going to do with it, but hopefully I'll find some sort of fun, quirky use for it.
Okay.
But yeah, going back to the 2017 thing, just as an example, so Substratum, you do a little bit of homework once you realize, okay, maybe they're not the geniuses this website proclaimed them to be. The guy was wanted in more states than Billy the Kid, I think, basically, was a violent criminal, wanted for just some of the worst kind of things you can think. And yeah, this fraction of the penny token went to $3 a piece at its peak. So you're talking like 4,000% return on investment,
Yeah.
And it was a multi-million dollar pile of crap, basically. So yes, while shitcoin can be a badge of honor, as in anything that's not Bitcoin is a shitcoin, I think when people are slanderously using the term, this is the type of project they're going on about.
Yes. This is what I think of when I think of a shitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, I've got thousands more of these stories if you want one. I mean, just off the top of my head, tittycoin, which is, sorry, I hope your podcast is not safe for work or but timeshares in a topless island. Of course, timeshares and ICOs. What could be better?
Okay, I obviously am going to buy a token for that.
Of course. I mean, God, piety was one of my personal favorites. So basically stamping on any form of blasphemy you could ever imagine. Buy more of their token and get better digs in heaven. That was the sales pitch.
Okay.
We're not going to say you can't get into heaven if you don't have a coin, but you're only going to get some sort of you're not going to get a sea view. Yeah,
okay,
that kind of thing.
When people are making these coins, basically what they're doing is offering some kind of value in exchange for you to buy into their coin, right? And that value could be apparently literally anything.
Yeah, so to kind of try and pretend to be serious for a minute, which isn't my forte in case you can't tell, you can kind of break things down a little bit, can't you? So I like to think you have coins, which are Bitcoin, Ethereum, for Everscale. So coins are the heart of a network itself, so a layer one solution. Then you have tokens, essentially. So anything which runs on top of another network, you can loosely categorize as a token as opposed to a coin. So when you then break down tokens, which is kind of where we're getting into here, you have utility tokens, and you have securities, essentially. And again, I'm going to say this about 10 times. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a very silly man. But yes, you have security offerings, and you have utility tokens. You can kind of think of utility tokens as, I don't know, in-game points. If Tesco Club Card points are a good example. But Tesco Club Card points which you own, which you can swap and send around. Security offerings are, I mean, a lot more wrote about, and there's lots of legal toing and froing around them at the minute. But essentially, you get into areas of the Howey test where anything which is promising you returns on investment, it isn't inherently something you use to do something, but it's an investment which is promising speculative returns, is a security.
Right. Okay.
And yeah, again, so these are your two basic shades of token, I would say. There may be some sort of nuance.
Okay. So with like utility tokens then, and the offering that they provide, what is the wildest value prop that you have come across?
Oh gosh, let me just scratch my. I mean, there's some absolutely insane ones. Well, I mean, here's a very recent one. My tungsten cube.
Would you like your tungsten?
Can you get me my tungsten cube? So I don't know. Are you big on crypto Twitter at all? Are you a Twitter user? Oh, okay. Well, I love crypto Twitter. I don't really like social media as a big thing, but HackerNoon and crypto Twitter are my spaces. There was a very long, weird meme culture over there which started, and crypto investors became obsessed with tungsten cubes. So here we go. Here's my little bit. I only have a very tiny one. This is a 1 centimeter tungsten cube. But there is a 14-incher out there, which has been sort of tokenized. And I suppose the utility behind this, and we're kind of blurring into NFTs, but I won't complicate things, is access to this 14-inch tungsten cube. So you can have sorry, I'll get this this right. I said this really well on another show the other day. Non-custodial access to a 14-inch tungsten cube. 1/365th ownership. Strange world we live in. And I'll play a little game with you here, Amy. How much would you pay for 1/365th of a non-custodial access token to a 14-inch tungsten cube? Again, don't get me wrong. My little 1 centimeter one it's satisfying. I've got a lot of love for this.
$100?
$100. Oh, I'm sorry, you've been severely outbid. $250,000.
Okay, wait, do I ever get to physically touch this cube?
Yes, you get 1 day a year, which you can be pre-allocated, where you get to be in a room, supervised, of course, just in case you're a weirdo. Supervised with this 14-inch tungsten cube. But yeah, I mean, meme culture aside, they are quite satisfying things to hold. It's very dense, so it's a lot heavier than you'd expect. It's tiny little things.
All right, okay.
But I'm getting
like
into
a
the
spare
mundane
$250,000, maybe I'll throw it into
maybe,
one of these.
or for £30, you can give yourself a taste. The more blue collar version.
Interesting. Okay, that's wild.
Yeah, and I mean, this isn't even going back. This is a very recent thing. So
yeah. So what really gives it the value then? Like, how do you know that your return on investment is going to come when you go into shitcoins?
This is where I think a lot of people are. It's a complicated thing, and there's old sayings, isn't there? Never invest what you can't afford to lose. Essentially, some of the most boring, most sensible sounding, promising projects have turned out to be the biggest piles of shit. Personally, one of the coins I have a bit of a bugbear for, and I might lose some fans, not that I have any actual fans at the minute, but Ripple, it's in the top 10 project. It's got respect. It is, as far as I'm aware, it's a private conglomerate copy paste chain of another project with no real value, no real utility, massive promises of return on investment. This is, this is where you have to do your own research. And I don't know, fortune favors the brave. You do have to be in it to win it, as they say. Again, like, Ethereum, Bitcoin, as I'm sure you've touched on, when you go back, even 2-3 years, these were risky investments. Perhaps that risk to reward ratio with these bigger cap coins, like I say, is maybe curving off. Maybe it's becoming more as institutions are waking up to the actual real use of Bitcoin and such. But like I say, I mean, personally, like I say, my heart and my day job is with Everscale. In terms of what we're doing, we are tech focused. There's marketing, there's community, there's open access to information. There's not, there's minimal censorship over, opinions and this kind of thing. And for me, these are all kind of good indicators I look for. As a guy who kind of works in community and that side of things,
right?
One big red flag is, very heavy levels of censorship, or when you immediately walk into a Telegram group and people get banned for asking, questions which aren't allowed to be asked. These kind of things. Yeah, perhaps they're not the technical analysis answers other people might give you, but I don't look at charts all day. I look at people and I watch behaviors, and again, I'm a big believer in people. So again,
because there are people behind the shitcoins.
Exactly. And yeah, whilst a lot of people are pseudo-anonymous in the space and do very good things, personally, just, coming from my opinion, I do generally tend to look for, teams who are involved in projects with open public profiles. Yeah. That's always a good accountability. If people aren't proud of what they're doing, that kind of raises questions in itself, I think, maybe.
If they don't have a hard criminal record.
yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe I got a little bit burnt by that one. Yeah, learn from your mistakes. That's the best thing.
Learn from your mistakes. Yeah.
And again, that's a good thing. You've got to make mistakes to learn any kind of thing. You don't learn how to ride a bike until you fall off and cut your knee. Really, that's another terrible analogy, but I'm gonna stick with it.
All right. And I feel like this is an age-old question when it comes to shitcoins, even though I don't know anything about this, but I know that people ask this question. Is it possible to get rich from shitcoins?
Yes, of course. I mean, all you have to, there's 1,000 and million anecdotal evidence is out there, and I'll be more candid with man and say yes, definitely. I've spoke to several people I've been at a conference event, and like I say, I tend to work in community and people areas mostly. I get a lot of job offers and people asking for recruitment requests for entry level positions, basically. And this is the only industry in the world where you can hire an intern. 3 months later, there'll be a millionaire starting their own project. This is a very common problem in the industry. People start in the entry level, and entry level is just, it's gone. So, like I say, in terms of just very basic entry level jobs, there is a massive need, which
interesting.
Make of that what you will. Like I say, I don't do advice, but
wait, what kind of jobs do these people have? What do they do?
Well, I mean, that's a good thing. Like I say, when after I realized maybe I wasn't the greatest trader in the world and Substratum started crashing and burning, and 2018 hangover kicked in for everyone. Bear market PTSD, we call this. I was fortunate enough to sort of start working in community management, and yeah, I mean, what do I do at Everscale? Essentially, what I do is everything I want to do. It's an active community thing. I write, I talk. I have no real kind of coding or technical knowledge, but again, this is a new emerging industry. It needs people from all walks of life. Before I got into this, I was a grumpy head chef type person who hid away in kitchens and shouted at waiting staff a lot. Would you believe it? Yeah, I mean,
okay,
and now I had no financial background.
Dream life, just talking.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one of those guys who's going to say, yeah, I've never had 10 Bitcoin. I was a little bit late to the Bitcoin party to be saying I'm a millionaire or anything like that. But yeah, I value my kind of worth in terms of time and loving what you do. And quite frankly, like I get up, I start working, I go to bed right as soon as I finish, and it's not working. It's an industry which is doing things, and shitcoin, Bitcoin, everything in between coin. There are cowboys and there are good people building incredible things which are changing the world.
Right.
Sorry, I'm getting all passionate there, aren't I?
Oh my gosh.
Getting all serious. Sorry.
Yes,
Retuning.
I love it. Okay, yeah, that's super interesting. Are shitcoins then a get rich quick scheme, do you think?
No, and just no. You have to know what you're doing to. They can be again. So anecdotally, I have a friend who's a very good programmer. He's a bit old school in what he does, and I've been trying to persuade him to dabble in cryptocurrency for a couple of years now. In January, February time, he finally said, Ben, you finally convinced me. And what he'd done, he'd bought Dogecoin, thinking he would piss me off as a joke. He was like, I'm going to find the silliest cryptocurrency I can find. And it was pretty much all he bought. He was like, yeah, right. And again, for all the jokes, Dogecoin is a meme, essentially, but it does what it says on the tin. You can send it back and forth. It's safe, it's secure, blah, blah, blah. And then Elon Musk comes along with his Elon Muskness. And Dave is laughing heartily in my face for many weeks.
Oh my gosh.
But it's 60% luck, 40% skill, 20% staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning wondering what the fuck life is. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Exactly. Yeah, let's talk about Dogecoin a bit. Because
I'm not a massive expert on Doge, but it does make me laugh. It's a good community. It is like
arguably one of the most popular shitcoins. And what is their value prop? Like, what are they actually offering? Anything?
I'm a little bit. So again, here's where my definition of Bitcoin to shitcoin comes in. And I'm going to try and get a little bit technical here to the best of my abilities. Bitcoin is a UTXO blockchain. So what that means in layman's term is you can send it to one person, they can send it back. It will not do anything else with any degree of efficiency because it is designed to do one thing very well and very securely. Mm-hmm. So the world has Bitcoin. Bitcoin pretty much has the biggest open source army of developers you can imagine. Mm-hmm. Anything else which purely just does peer-to-peer payments is almost superfluous in a way, in my opinion, and that's just an opinion. Mm-hmm. So again, I'm not up to date with the latest developments on Doge. I mean, Elon's a very clever man, so I'm sure he gets excited about some things. Perhaps he's just another Dave, though, taking the piss out of whoever his Ben is out there. Those Saturday Night Live jokes were pretty much on par with what I did in my stand-up the other day. So yeah, I can't comment too heavily. I know the community does a lot of good charitable work, a lot of charities accept Dogecoin. The world needs alternative markets, I suppose. So these things are a force for good, and as long as they stay that way, but in a long-term strategic, where is this space going? I can't see why personally, unless Bitcoin is suffering for some sort of network congestion, which again, there are people who work on this every day in, day out. Well, why would you be looking for a faster, cheaper Bitcoin if Bitcoin is fast and cheap?
Because there's a dog. Where's the Bitcoin dog?
Of course. Who am I? I'm being way too serious tonight. I need another drink, I think. Yes.
Okay, so someone who is like has 1 foot in and 1 foot out of the crypto space, the Doge movement seems to be like a huge thing, and not just like Dogecoin, but like Baby Doge and Mommy Doge and Daddy Doge. Like all of the different Doges are also like piggybacking off of the success of Dogecoin. Then.
That's what happens. I mean, think about it not as a cryptocurrency, but as a successful brand of sports shoe. You know, if Nike does a very successful brand of or design of sports shoe, all of a sudden, you know, you sort of follow down the chain of imitators, don't you? Until, yeah, if I don't know what's a crappy sports brand, High Tech or something like that. Kappa. All of my clothes are non-brand and terrible, so I don't know this world. But yeah, it's very similar. You know, successful things will always get imitators. Innovators will always be copies. That's the nature of open source, I suppose. And again, yeah, you're getting into big topic stuff here, but ownership rights in an age of digitalization is a big, you know, how do you claim you are the one who owns the vision of the meme? And you're getting into Craig Wright territory there, aren't you? Yeah, he's sending people to court for everything left, right, and center.
Yeah, I am like also especially interested in the SHIB because that is one of the more popular ones too, right? Like that has just taken off.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know a huge amount about SHIB. It's pretty much a Dogecoin thing again. Their marketing guys are very good. They've raised a lot of awareness. Just anecdotally, there was a question on my show about them the other day. There was a guy who bought, it was in August 2018, and he bought roughly 12.5% of the total supply of SHIB token for, I think it was in the region of $7,000. Okay. It was the other week valued at, I might be mixing my figures, but $5.9 billion. And he hadn't sold or moved a single bit in that time. It is literally, as far as I'm aware, and again, you know, fact check me, please, folks. It's for your own good. But the greatest single trade of all time ever.
Whoa!
As in $7,000 to $5.9 billion. Yeah, you're getting a lot of fingers and toes out to count
12% of all of it too. Wow. Ooh.
Well, yeah. So it's huge amounts.
That
and again, they've got a lot of charitable work going on. So yeah, if it's a force for good, but yeah, do your own research on these things, guys. I would always be wary of jumping onto bandwagons. You know, for me, my most successful, you know, trading experiences have been where I've found a project early, essentially a team who have a good vision, a good plan. Maybe there's a unique aspect to it. And these are the kind of 50-50 shots, if you will. You know, these things are either going to take off or they're not. When I first got into it in 2017, I was playing around with very small amounts of money, throwing it scattergun approach, and hey, here I am 5 years later, still milking it.
Okay. Would you say that a shitcoin has to have a certain level of silliness to it to be successful?
Oh, that's a good question. No, definitely not. Like I say, Ethereum is a shitcoin through and through. Mind you, actually, Vitalik is a very silly man. So, oof. Perhaps you're right. I was going to go into Cardano. Charles Hoskins is a very silly man as well, actually. Isn't he a cowboy DJ as well as everything? So basically, are all crypto
people a little bit insane?
You're bleeding me into, like I say, I was away at the Malta conference this week, and yes, basically, even if we're not insane, I think there must be 1,001 beautiful quotes about madness, and it's all about the way you see the world. And I think there are essentially two types of people who are involved in this space. You have dreamers, you know, long-haired hippies who are like, wow, this thing could make a beautiful difference. It could do something. And of course, you have speculators and entrepreneurs, and, you know, one can't really thrive without the other. You know, it's a parasitic, symbiotic relationship, if you will.
Those parasitic entrepreneurs. Ugh.
Well, maybe it's us hippies who are the parasites, really. You know, it's those entrepreneurs who are making the money so that we can go giving it away to people who, or, you know, good causes, or building things which then don't make any money, but just do good things in the world. And so, yeah, there's a lot of ways of looking at it. Like I say, obviously, I come from the first camp. You know, I tried to do a couple of courses on technical analysis and probably fell asleep halfway through. You know, Yeah, fundamentals are for me. If you like what the project's doing, think about it like you're investing in. Again, decentralization is maybe overused as a buzzword. It's a new way of doing something that's already, companies exist. They're just very few, and it's enclosed, a decision circle controlled and ran by very few. But again, you look at boards of directors and CEOs and public listed companies, decentralization and DeFi by extension, it expands all these opportunities out to whether you've got $50, 500, 5,000, code in a world where code is law.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's opportunity. So I'm
Mm.
ranting again.
Yeah, no. Okay, so let's talk about shitcoins for good then. Like, what are some of the projects that have really brought around like real societal change?
Right, well, here we go. I think my employers at Ton Labs would kill me if I didn't go into this one. Everscale. So when I first started coming on board with these guys, we were running a contest, which is kind of how all our tokens are distributed. There's no ICO or sale or anything like that. Everyone has to come and earn the tokens or buy them on the secondary market, of course. But yeah, there was a contest to rebuttal a paper by MIT. Which basically says blockchain voting from bad to worse. And like I say, the whole subject of this paper from Massachusetts Institutional Technology, so MIT, I'm sure you know which one I mean.
Mouthful, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Blah, 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 blah. To my English tongue, it makes no sense. But yes, their paper slated any sort of principle that blockchain would be a force for good in the world of voting and elections. And obviously, in 2020 with the mess in the US, and I'm not going to talk politics because, like I say, I'm a very silly man. But yeah, and we ran this contest, and there were some excellent entries. But out of all these excellent entries, there was one in particular, which, like I say, I'd just come aboard and was sort of fortunate enough to get involved in the jury panel decision for this. And yeah, I read it 2-3 times through, and I'm like, wow, this is a viable real-world solution. And so this was then applied and brought forward to, like I say, so at Everscale, we are very close, and we work closely with the Government Blockchain Association. So again, whilst anarchy and decentralization, decentralize everything is a beautiful vision, we're not going to bring down capitalism overnight. We kind of need to all work in tandem and find a happy middle ground, I think. But yes, so Guatemala is a country of 3 million people, roughly, I think, if I've got my numbers correct. Everscale will be used to audit the entire national election in 2023 and ensure blockchain. So again, people will not be directly, the vote will be done in standard procedures, but it will also be done doubled, backed up, audited exclusively and directly on blockchain. So open, blockchain, you can see it all on the Explorer in real time. But yes, this paper which came forward basically brought about a way to ensure that, because in matters of voting, anonymity is important. If I want to vote for the asshole in the election, well, that makes me an arsehole, but that's my choice, and that's what democracy is about. So, there's quite a lot of nuance to this. But like I say, 2023 will be a live, real thing. Wow. Like I say, do your own research on this, because like I say, I'm involved in a lot of things on Everscale, and the technical details are a little bit above my direct field of understanding. But yes, like I say, it's blockchain being used for a real, genuine, verifiable force for good in the world.
Is there a coin involved?
Yeah, Everscale is, like I say, so like Ethereum, like Bitcoin, we're a decentralized network entity thing in the world. You can buy them on the secondary market, lots of good centralized exchanges. We have a bunch of dexes. Obviously, like I've just said, the main thing is we have a meritocracy system. So generally there are contests running where people with skills, whether you call what I do a skill, but definably, they think I'm bringing something to the table. So yeah, that's how it all kind of works. Directly, okay. I work for a company who work on the chain, and there are lots of companies who work on the chain, but Everscale is Ethereum. We're what you might call in the shitcoin world a micro cap right now. But again, just to be a dirty shell, we're hopefully microcap won't apply for too much longer. But that's not financial advice again, guys. That's my passion. Yeah, I fucking love what I do in my day job.
Yeah. Okay, wait, let me wrap my head around this again because
Go on.
Bitcoin newbie over here. Blockchain newbie, everything. Like so as you if I were to invest in the sorry, what is it? What's your name?
Everscale is the name of the blockchain. So again, just it's quite literally because it's a very scalable.
Yes. Okay. So if I were to invest in the Everscale token, then I'm basically buying into the things that you're doing on the blockchain, and that's like the value that is provided.
So again, I mean, there are lots of other subtle details you can throw in there. So there's very good staking features. So again, everyone out there, we don't want coins which just sit idly and don't earn interest. That's, that's the evolution of the space. So there's staking, DeFi, there's NFT platforms. Like I say, going back to my kind of loose definition of things, Ever, which is our coin, is a coin because it is the heart, the fuel of the network. My token, Nevermind the Shitcoins token, which, I have all of them. It's just a stupid thing I did on one afternoon with a few clicks of a button. But that is just a token which runs on the Ever blockchain, Everscale blockchain. Yeah, but like I say, there are hundreds, if not thousands, of various different people building and trying to make use of this new technology, which, like I say, I won't go into the shill side of things, but like I say, do your own research if you're looking for a microcap.
Ah, I see. So like in the same way that you would have been promised that the China firewall is going to be taken down and that's the value prop, the value prop of Evershare is that you have just like things that you're doing on the blockchain for good.
Yeah, so, well, one of the things I would definably kind of say is Everscale is, again, it's not a utility token. It's not a security offering. It's a coin. So, like I say, no one owns the network. It is something which is maintained and ran by the developers. Yeah, there we go. I'm giving you glossary terms here.
Okay.
But yeah, so again, there's no promise of return on investment. There are just people working and building things you can do with this, much like Ethereum. Ethereum goes, and we've all seen where Ethereum's gone. When I first got involved, it was about $50 a piece, I think. So, gosh,
I mean, we haven't all seen where Ethereum has gone.
Okay, sorry, I apologize. But yeah, if you go back to just 4 years ago, Ethereum was what $2 a piece at the beginning of 2017. My math may be a little bit off there. When I kind of started paying more attention to these things, Ethereum was $70-$80 each at most, and what we on about $4,500 each Ethereum today. But again, with this kind of older technology, which requires a lot more kind of maintenance in that way, Everscale is a much younger beast designed on lessons learned from the past. So there are a lot of different nuances to these things out there, I think.
Yes.
But again, the best advice I'd give any shitcoin hunter is always do your own research and know what type of kind of project or thing you're aiming for, if you're going for fundamentals at least.
All right, cool. Final answer, what is your favorite shitcoin?
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to add a little bracket to that. I'm going to assume you said I'm not allowed to say Ever, because that's my day job. That would be a cheating answer, wouldn't it? Oh, you are testing me there. Oh, well, I'll tell you, favorite's a hard word, because I suppose it's you can put it into a lot of different ones. It's a very, very silly one, but I have a lot of I love, hate, beautiful admiration for Pancake Swap. If it's a token
that rings
which
a bell to me.
Yeah, I mean, this is a token which runs on Binance Smart Chain, which arguably isn't an actual blockchain. It's not very decentralized, but again, I won't go into those details. But yes, this Pancake token, it was one of the first seemingly sustainable major DeFi platforms, which was quite easy to use and accessible for, people like me who tend to steer away from anything too technically imposing. You go onto the website, everything is pictures of rabbits with pancakes on their head. And in this world, this is a serious financial project. And I don't know the recent figures, but I think you're in the region of about $15 billion of locked liquidity on that website with very happy bunny rabbits like me who put a few quid in when it was new, again, very new. And I thought, I'm just playing around. I'll find out how it works. So it's silly. I'm having fun. If I lose it, I'm not going to lose any sleep, which is how I approach all these kind of things.
Yeah.
But yeah, Pancake has been very good to me, even though I've been going,
Like, what even?
It's exciting because it's so silly that you're like, no, how
could it possibly?
Yeah, it's a pancake on a rabbit's head, but yeah, it's working. I mean, it's paying out, and oh wow, God, yeah, that number went up quick. And again, yeah, you've got to be in it to win it. You've got to be lucky. All right, I said 60% luck, 40% skill. Maybe 80-20 on that even. There is a lot of luck involved.
Interesting.
But, it's a lot of fun, and you've got to approach it with a sense of humor, I think, which leads me very nicely into a quick shill for my own show. Amy, when are you going to come on my show?
I would like to come on your show whenever.
Well, you can either come on this coming Thursday or the Thursday after on this series.
Ooh, all right.
I will send you a calendar link, and I won't make you answer here and now. But yes, so basically my show, like I say, leading into that, you've got to have fun. If you like a British sense of humour, what I've done, it's a podcast and a live YouTube show. It's a British panel pub quiz kind of thing. So we just play some silly games, basically, but it's all based around the world of cryptocurrency. It's quite nice and entry level. So we play games like... So I did my first live performance version of it at the conference in Malta this week. We played a game called 8 out of 10 Crypto Kitties, which was all about cool facts and statistics from the world. So I did have a question to ask you, just as an example. There we go. I'm going to put you on the spot, Amy.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong. What I do very well is find the very obscure, wacky things. So even people who think they know everything about this world come on and they're like, well, that wasn't fair.
I don't know anything.
It's pure beginners.
That's why we're here.
Yeah, a couple of shows ago, someone finished the show with 28 million points, I think. It's ridiculous.
Okay.
The points don't matter. We just have fun. And I get drunk for a living. So, but what percentage of Australians believe Elon Musk invented Bitcoin?
Wow.
Yeah. What percentage do you think? How high or low?
Wow. I'm going to say 67.
Oh, have you been doing homework? 56. So yes, but incredibly, yeah. And I hate to break it if you have a big Australian audience out in HackerNoon. He didn't. I don't think anyway. I'm 99% sure it wasn't him. He's quite a boastful guy. He would have admitted it by now.
56%. Okay, that's great.
But we also get a lot ruder. So we play some quite rude adult games where we bit of wordplay with some dirty kind of sex puns mixed with crypto terms. So you learn a crypto term and you learn something that you can't get out of your head at night because it's kind of weird.
British sex puns. I feel like that a lot of that would go over my head.
Yeah. I mean, I know you're good friends with Savas, of course. He's been on the show a couple of times and God bless him, yeah. I think it was him who's quoted as saying, well, I learned something today. I really wish I didn't. If that doesn't make you want to listen to my show, nothing will. And I don't want you to anyway.
Excellent. Yes. And I was going to say that I think this is so exciting because it really does shake up this traditionalness and the stiffness of finance and what we know about finance. And now we're just investing in pancake bunnies and it's just going to be the best time.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's touching into a different area, which isn't my kind of, subject matter expertise. But DeFi, someone asked me at the conference, or a couple of people did, why DeFi? Well, DeFi is exactly it's very parallel to the banking system, except banks kind of have the power of the government and the law behind them and can treat you like shit. They don't have to offer you anything. DeFi products also need your liquidity like a bank do. If everyone took their money out of the bank tomorrow, the bank would be like, oh, please come back. That's how a DeFi project works, except, they know us as users, we have choice. And so they have to treat you well by default. And that's where people are often like, how can these, magical internet money sites offer me 200% APY? Well, they're new, they need to attract customers and they need to treat them well.
It's almost like there are rules in banking that make it so that it's possible to treat people like not human beings. And DeFi takes all that away.
Exactly. It's a brave new world, to quote Aldous Huxley, which I always like to end with a quote.
I love it. I'm getting into it. I'm doing it. Yeah. Crypto.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fun.
Well, I hope you've learned something today, Amy.
I have learned a lot today. Thanks, Ben. If we want to find you and what you're working on online, where can we look?
Nevermindtheshitcoins.com and everscale.net. Or, just find me. I'm out there on the internet in lots of places. I'm very friendly. I don't bite, usually. So just say hello. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Brilliant.
If you like this episode of the HackerNoon podcast, you can get us at HackerNoon on all of the social channels and like LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. DM us, comment. I'm here for you and I'm behind the screen. And if you like this episode, please share it, like it, subscribe to the podcast, and maybe shoot me over a little review. That would be excellent. And as always, stay weird, and I'll see you on the internet.
I'm so stealing your outro. I'm terrible at asking people to review and subscribe. I'm too British. I can't ask them to do it. That was perfect. I'm so jealous.
Haha.
HackerNoon Podcast.